Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Finance with Avron. In this video, I'm getting into the Fidelity Cash Management Account, a powerful financial tool that's changing the game for how some people are managing their everyday money. I'm going to get into the main benefits and features, how to open this account, exploring how you can earn yield on your cash in this hybrid checking account. Yeah, that's right, earning yield on the checking account. And also, I'm going to get into the pros and cons. By the end of this video, you'll know if this account is a financial upgrade that could benefit you. First up here, we're going to get into what is this Fidelity Cash Management Account. It is a hybrid account, which is combining features of a checking, savings, and brokerage account all in one convenient solution. After researching this account and getting to what it can do and how it can be used, I'm actually thinking about opening one myself and using it as my main checking account. And you'll find out more why in this video. For example, the banking features. This account offers a Visa debit card, check writing, bill pay, and ATM access just like traditional banks. And there's some other things that it has just like traditional banks as well, and some things it doesn't have. And now technically, this is not a bank account. It operates through Fidelity's partnership with banking institutions, also sometimes called program banks or partnership banks. You'll see different wording with that, but this account is working with actual other banks, and that's how you can get FDIC insurance in one of the cash options, because there's two different ways you can hold your cash in this account. And I'm gonna tell you about that for sure, but just a brief intro right here on what is the Fidelity Cash Management Account. It is a hybrid account, blending different features of a checking, savings, and brokerage account. Not technically a bank account, definitely on that hybrid side, but definitely has some things that are similar to other accounts out there. And let's get into right now how to open a Fidelity Cash Management account. So it's a really simple, easy process, only takes a few minutes. You can apply online, complete the entire application in a few minutes on Fidelity's website, and you don't have to have any kind of other Fidelity account already. If you do, it'll be a little bit quicker, of course, less than a few minutes basically, but very simple, easy process. And also there's no minimum deposit required when opening this account. And also when you're opening this account, you'll need to verify your identity. Very simple, standard practice when it comes to opening the account with a financial institution. You're going to provide personal information for identity verification, standard security protocol here. And it's not a hard pull on your credit. It's a soft type of pull where they're just checking your information to make sure you are who you say you are. And also you can start funding the account immediately when you open the account if you like, or you can put that off for a little while, but you can definitely connect external accounts and transfer money to this account to help the activation process, basically to get it started. And of course, you can add more than one external account. And now let's get into some of the main account features and benefits. Like I stated briefly, you will get a Visa debit card with this account where you can make purchases with it and also use it at ATMs for withdrawals with no transaction fees. And they actually will give you a rebate on any fees that you may incur with ATM activity. And now with that Visa debit card, is basically like a checking account debit card. You can use it pretty much anywhere, Visa is accepted, which is basically, everywhere. What's Visa's tagline, slogan, everywhere you want to be, so it's Visa. Great stock, by the way. One of my favorites in my portfolio. But yeah, Visa debit card with this one, you can use it as a checking account and just swipe, tap, add it to your wallet on your phone. Different ways to use the account to spend money. And of course, with the ATM, you can withdraw actual physical cash as well. And it doesn't have to be like a Fidelity branded ATM. Vast amount of ATMs that accept Visa debit cards. And this is digital banking in focus with this account. You have mobile check deposit with this, as well as direct deposit. You can bill pay with this account, and you can have actual check writing with this account. So it has those core checking account features. And actually with mobile check deposit, not all checking accounts even have that. Some banks out there still have just regular physical check cashing where you have to send the check in or take it to an actual brick and mortar store or something like that. Not with the Fidelity Cash Management Account. On your mobile app with the Fidelity account, you can simply take a picture of it front and back, follow the instructions, and deposit that check into your Fidelity Cash Management Account. And you can set up this account to receive direct deposit from your employer or benefits provider, however you get paid, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, however. You can set up a portion of that check or all of it to go into this account. Of course, what do a lot of people do with checking accounts? They pay bills. Yes, it's sad, but yes, it's something that happens, something you got to do. You have bill paying with this account where you can pay, your mortgage, your utility bills, your whatever kind of bills, medical bills, this, that, however, whatever bills you normally pay, you can pay them with this account. And also, if you're somebody that likes to write checks, You don't have to give that up with this account either. You can do that as well. And now with this account, one thing that's definitely great about it is that there are no monthly maintenance fees with it. A lot of checking accounts out there have some kind of a $5, $7, $10. I've even seen $25 monthly maintenance fees out there where you just for having the account basically. And then they have, of course, those banks will have ways that you can have that fee, voided or avoid that fee by having a certain amount of transactions in the account or a certain balance requirement or direct deposit requirements, things like that. With this account, none of those loops you have to jump through to get, no monthly maintenance fees, just no monthly maintenance fees in general with this account. And also overdraft fees as well. They have a whole overdraft mechanism with this account where you can have a funding account to back up this account basically if you're spending money that's not in this account, and so forth and so forth. If you're somebody that does that needs that, is there for you as well. My thing is, hopefully don't get into a predicament where you need to think about overdrafting. That's one thing I'm hoping that this channel would help people with bettering themselves financially, is where you're not even thinking about, am I going to overdraft for something? Firstly, because you have the money in your account for what you're spending, what you're paying on. And secondly, because you're spending money smartly and you're not just out there just buying, unless we're talking about, something awesome like stocks and investments and things like that, and during great times and just throughout. But we won't get into that here. When I'm talking about, with this Fidelity account, it makes me definitely want to talk about investing, because that's what a lot of people think of when they see Fidelity, is the investment, the brokerage side of it. But yeah, they have this account as well, which is a complement to their investing account. This isn't something that's going to take over from the investment account if you have one with them, or Vanguard or Charles Schwab or Ally, anywhere else. This isn't going to take over from that. This is a complement to those type of accounts, and definitely to the Fidelity investment account if you have that. You don't have to have it, but it definitely works in tandem with that if you do. But with this account as well, you have global ATM access. So unlimited ATM fee reimbursements, as I was telling you, worldwide. You can use this Visa debit card wherever you can use a Visa debit card and access an ATM. You need cash across the country, overseas, or something like that, it's going to charge you a fee. Don't worry about it. They will reimburse you for that fee. Use any ATM out there without regard to the fees. Yeah, you might see it up front, but then you have Fidelity take care of it for you, which is a great thing. Not a lot of financial institutions do that. And now let's get into the cash in this account. Because yes, this is a checking account where you'll have, your direct deposit going to, or you'll, send money to externally and have it in this account. But where are you going to have that cash at in this account? You have two core options where your cash can be held at in this Fidelity Cash Management Account. One option, we'll just say option number one in this case, is the Fidelity Government Money Market Fund. You can have the cash that you have in this checking hybrid account and a money market fund, earning currently 3.93%, which is a nice yield. And this is for basically a checking type of account. We're going to think of this, when you think of this Fidelity Cash Management Account, I want you to think of it more as a checking account, because yes, there are definitely yields out there that are higher than this yield. And that's one of the cons I'll talk about a little bit later. But this account acts more as a checking account to me personally, I believe, than a savings account or a brokerage account. Yeah, it has features similar to some of those in different ways and things, but you're not necessarily buying stocks in this account. And I mean, you're not necessarily, you can hold money in this account as a savings account. And I'll tell you about the other option right here on the right side. But this is more of those accounts, paying bills, using it to spend, things like that. That's how I would think of this account. And when I open it up personally, that's how I'm going to use this account. So one way you can have your money in this account sitting is in that money market fund, earning 3.93%, which is much higher than any other type of checking account out there that I've seen. And when you're thinking like, okay, well, what is this money market fund? What is it? Is this safe? What's going on here? Yes, this money market fund is the SPAXX fund. You see it right there on the screen, and you got a lot of information online on Fidelity's website of how it's performed in the past, year, 5 year, 10 years, the life of the account, things like that. And this money market fund basically invests in U.S. government securities, treasury debt, and related instruments. So pretty typically low risk type of investments, which is a typical standard type of government money market fund. Now, this money market fund is not FDIC insured. However, it is covered by the SIPC, which is the Securities Investor Protection Corporation. Now, in this account, the SIPC has coverage up to $500,000, including up to $250,000 for uninvested cash. And now the SIPC is a nonprofit organization that protects stocks, bonds, and other securities in case a brokerage firm goes bankrupt and assets are missing. And so in this case, if you had your money in this money market fund, it would fall in that tunnel of coverage with the SIBC. Now, with this money market fund, distributions consist primarily of dividends, which are declared daily and paid monthly on the last business day of the month. So the yield that you're earning, which is currently that 3.93%, that amount right there on your money, you'll be getting paid that at the end of the month on the last business day. Now that would just basically get reinvested into this money market fund, and you'll just see that compound interest, in this case in the money market fund. But also you should definitely still think of that as cash, because let's just say you had, $5,000 in the Fidelity Cash Management Account and you chose to have your money in the Fidelity Government Money Market Fund. Well, when you spend your money, whether it be swiping that debit card or paying bills, the money is coming from that money market fund to pay for that bill or whatever you're buying and things like that. So it's not something that's just locked up. You're using that money fluidly. Yeah, it's in a money market fund, but Fidelity is handling it on the back end to pay your bills or, pay for that purchase. You just pay the gas or whatever it is. So that money isn't locked up. Even though it's in a money market fund, you can still just basically think of it as just cash sitting in a checking type of account. And so with this side of it, the money market fund option is ideal for those who are seeking more growth with minimal risk. Now, the other option that you have with your cash in the Fidelity Cash Management Account is the FDIC Insured Deposit Sweep Program. Now, in this program, your funds are placed in multiple partner banks, providing up to $5 million in FDIC insurance, which is much higher than that standard FDIC limit of $250,000. Now, hopefully you're familiar with the FDIC. I talk about it often in my videos with the accounts I talk about, because I basically don't really talk about any accounts unless they have some kind of coverage, whether it be FDIC coverage or the credit union coverage, the NCUA, or SIPC in this regard with this video and the money market fund. But you have the option of having your money in an FDIC program in partner banks. Now, how Fidelity gets that up to $5 million of FDIC insurance is because they sweep it to various banks. Once they hit the limit of $250,000 in one bank, then it's going into another bank and so forth. One thing you got to keep in mind with that, if you have, a couple $1 million in this account, is that if you have an account with one of their partner program banks, that will go towards your FDIC insurance as well. So you don't have like an additional with this account and then that, the other account that you may have with their partner program banks. That's going to go towards that amount right there. Now, you may be wondering, okay, which are the program partner banks? Let me show you up here on the screen to tell you about them so you'll know, because you can actually contact Fidelity and tell them, hey, I don't want any of my money in this cash management account to be swept to this bank or that bank or so-and-so. So you can tell them specifically if you don't want to have your money swept into one of those banks. That way you can kind of keep it separated if you have a separate account in one of those banks. Now, here are the program banks right here as of May 2025. Several of these you're definitely probably familiar with. And like I stated, you may even have an account already with one of these banks. So here's the list right here. You see their program banks with Fidelity right now are Citibank, Associated Bank, CIBC Bank, the Bank of New York Mellon, US Bank, Goldman Sachs Bank, Bank of Oklahoma, Citizens Bank, HSBC Bank, and Webster Bank, which are saying right now the status of it is unavailable. Show more program banks, and here's the rest of the list right here. So you have UMB Bank, you have Fulton Bank, which says status unavailable for that one. Then you have Capital One, and then you have First Horizon, JP Morgan Chase, Santander Bank, Morgan Stanley Private Bank, Leader Bank, Fifth Third Bank, Truist Bank, Wells Fargo Bank. So several big name, well-funded, well-capitalized banks right there. Now, currently the yield as of May 28th, 2025 with this sweep program is at 2.21%, which is definitely nice for a checking type of account. Now, for a high yield savings account, you have accounts out there with much higher yields than that. I do ranking videos every other month about the top 10 savings accounts ranked by APY, and all of them are much higher than that. However, like I stated, I think of this cash management account more as a checking account than a savings account. And in that regard, 2.21% is very nice for a checking type of account. Now, with the yield for the deposit sweep program, the interest is accrued daily and is paid monthly on the last business day of the month. Now, this option is better suited for those who are prioritizing maximum deposit protection and security. If you're just like, I don't want to deal with my money in a money market fund that's in my checking account, I want it to be completely stable, then you're better suited for, the deposit sweep program. Now, the government money market fund, as I showed you on the screen, I'll show you again right now, isn't a very volatile type of money market fund, very pretty much stable type of fund. So those are the two options right there for where you can hold your cash in this account. And you'll choose that pretty much up front when you're starting this account, and you can change it. You're not locked in forever with this account into one of those programs or in that money market fund. You can, change. If you decide, I want to test this out, I want to try this, you can start the other process of choosing a different core option. All right, now let's talk about some about the cash manager and account automation features with this account. So of course, like I was telling you a little bit briefly at the beginning of the video, there's the overdraft protection with this account, which has an automated system that draws from linked Fidelity accounts to prevent declined transactions. So if you need that set up, if you want that set up, you have that option there with the overdraft protection with this cash management account. And also you have balance alerts with this account. So you can receive notifications for low or excess balances. So you can set that up, as far as I want to be alerted when this account drops to this, or I want to be alerted when this account exceeds this, because what you can also do is have, your money in the automation process. You can set target balances and then automate your transfers between accounts. If you think of this account, more of a checking account, which I consider it that, and you say, I don't want to get more than $5,000, $10,000, $1,000 or whatever in this account. I know how much I need pretty much to pay my bills. And if it goes above that, I want to transfer it to an external bank account, to a high yield savings account or to a brokerage account. If I want to send some money to invest with, something like that, you can have that going on. So you have that excess cash investment where you have the option to invest when the cash is above a specific threshold. Now, that's not something that you'd be like automatic, like it hits above this and it automatically buys, a certain investment right there. You'll get the alert and then you'll get to choose what you want to do with the excess balance. So it has the process where it kind of gets the ball rolling for you, some encouragement, some motivation to say, hey, you got more than what you set up for in this account. You want us to alert you when this happens. Here it is. What would you like to do? Or if you got this set up with the automatic transfers, we're getting this rolling for you. However you want to set it up. You want to invest that money? Okay, let's get that going. All right. Just pretty much a financial tool right here that's helping you along the way to either save more, invest more, or both. And now, comparing this account to the traditional checking accounts out there are some things it definitely has in common and some things that are not so in common with the traditional bank checking accounts. So you see it here lined up, Fidelity CMA Cash Management Account on the left and the traditional bank checking accounts on the right. Monthly fees first up. With the Fidelity CMA account, you don't have those, so none. Now with traditional bank accounts, you often see that. Typically sometimes between $5 and $15, like I stated briefly earlier in the video. So that is something to think about. Now, some of the fintech checking accounts out there, like Ally, like SoFi and Capital One, they don't have the monthly maintenance fee. So you may be used to that already. Me personally, I'm used to that. I don't typically, engage in an account that has a monthly maintenance fee unless I'm opening it up for a, bank bonus and doing some research on it, to make a video on it, to learn more about it, or things like that. So yeah, I do run into accounts that definitely still have monthly maintenance fees. It's not something that's non-existent, that's for sure. But there are some big name banks and, growing banks out there and financial tech company and fintech companies that are going the no monthly maintenance fee route. So that's nice. Now, ATM fee policy. With the Fidelity CMA account, you have unlimited rebates. Now with traditional bank checking accounts, you either don't have any kind of reimbursement, program with them, or you have a limited amount where they'll pay like, $10 a month or statement period or $15 or something like that towards the, ATM fees. So unlimited with the Fidelity account and kind of varies with traditional checking accounts. Now, minimum balance requirement. With the Fidelity account, there's no minimum balance requirement. You can let this go to zero if you want. Build it back up, let it go back down. That's fine. You're not going to get hit with any kind of fee with that. Traditional bank accounts, that ranges. Some of them don't have a minimum balance. Some of them do have a minimum balance of, up to $1,500 I've seen, even more than that. Sometimes I've seen, $100, $200, $50, something like that. So it kind of varies with that. Something that's not for sure with the other checking accounts, but it varies. With the Fidelity account, zero. FDIC insurance. With the Fidelity account, if you have it in that sweep program, you have up to $5 million of FDIC insurance. Traditional checking accounts, you got that standard $250,000. Now, interest rate, APY. So as of May 28th, 29th, you have an APY of 2.21% with the Fidelity Cash Management Account. With other traditional bank checking accounts, you're usually looking at either zero, no kind of APY or yield, or like 0.05, 0.01, 0.02, maybe 0.1, something like that. But yeah, with checking accounts and other traditional checking accounts, you typically don't get any kind of yield, or it's very low. I think one of the highest I've seen, I believe, is with SoFi, which I have used for sure. And it's currently, I'm pulling it up right now just to see what it is here on my phone. What is 0.50 APY, which is definitely on the higher end for a checking account. However, if you're using the Fidelity Cash Management Account as your checking account, you got a much higher yield in that sweep program at 2.21%. And if you want higher than that, then you have the money market fund option. Now, depositing cash with the Fidelity account, this is something that you cannot do. And this is something that's definitely in the cons for this account. You cannot deposit cash. With other traditional checking accounts, it's often available either through the physical branch location or their ATMs, or at places like, Walgreens or CVS or different places. Some of the fintech companies have those kind of partnerships where you can deposit money there. I've deposited cash with SoFi at, I believe, was it a Dollar Tree or the Family Dollar or something like that, or Walgreens. And I've definitely deposited cash with Chime at Walgreens. I did that actually the other day. So I know that's possible there. So yeah, you have options like that with some of the fintech checking accounts. And then with the traditional checking accounts, the First Horizon, Truist, Regions, banks like that, you often have, where you can deposit cash at a physical branch or at an ATM. Now, when it comes to other types of deposits and withdrawals, there's a lot of similarities with the Fidelity account and traditional bank checking accounts. Internal, external transfers, you'll be able to do that. Checks, pretty much, you could send in physical checks to the Fidelity if you want to deposit it that way, or you could use the mobile check deposit feature. So there is a way to definitely deposit checks. And of course, you have the check writing with Fidelity like you do with traditional bank accounts, and also wire transfers, incoming and outgoing. That's available with the Fidelity Cash Management Account, as is typically available with traditional bank checking accounts. Now, with the Fidelity Cash Management Account, there's no fee for incoming or outgoing wire transfers. So that's something that's kind of stand out, because often with other banks, there's no fee for incoming, but they may charge a fee for outgoing or vice versa or something like that. Now, not all banks do that. Some banks are like Fidelity where they don't charge for incoming or outgoing. And then sometimes there's the fine print where there may be like a transactional bank in between that will charge a fee. So the actual wire amount will be different, and so forth and so forth. But yeah, small print, really, really small print type stuff with that. But overall, a lot of similarities with deposits and withdrawals with this Fidelity account and traditional bank checking accounts. On to the pros of this Fidelity Cash Management Account. And now there's some of the things we talked about in this video, but I want to zone in on them a little bit for the pro section. Now you have enhanced protection. So that up to $5 million FDIC insurance with the sweep option far exceeds the standard limits of the $250,000. So that's definitely a pro for someone who keeps a lot of money in their checking account. And you may think like, why would somebody keep that much in their checking account? People have different situations. They have different amounts that they're paying on, maybe their mortgage, maybe their car notes, this or that. High earners out there, they have the bills that are higher than, middle class and things like that. So, you might have more like that, because they also may have multiple millions in their high yield savings account or CD accounts or investment accounts, things like that. So some people will see that up to $5 million FDIC insurance and go, I could really use that. Whereas some people think, $250,000, that's enough for me. And that's totally fine as well, definitely, for sure. So, but even though having that option of having up to $5 million is alluring to some people, even if you don't even have a couple $1 million in a checking account or even in a savings account. But that enhanced protection is nice to have and nice to know that you have the ability to have up to $5 million in FDIC insurance. And also another big pro is that competitive yield. Like I was stating, typically with checking accounts, you don't have much of an APY. 0.0 something, maybe point something, but it's always a point something basically. So, but yeah, with this cash management account, you have the sweep program option where you can earn that 2.21% APY currently as of May 2025, which is significantly higher than a typical bank rates. Now, of course, you got that other option where you can earn almost 4% APY in that money market account. So yeah, you definitely have a competitive yield for this cash management account, which I stated I think of more as a checking account, and earning that kind of yield on a checking account is very enticing, very alluring, very interesting, and one of the reasons why I'm definitely considering opening this account for me personally. Now, definitely a pro with this account is the fee-free banking. No monthly maintenance fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no ATM fees worldwide. That's like a trifecta of no fees right there. So yeah, several banks have no monthly maintenance fees. A good amount of banks have no minimum balance requirement fees. Now, no ATM fees worldwide, that is a very rare thing to have at a bank or financial institution, but that is something you can have with this account. And so just knowing that you could be anywhere just needing to take cash out, you don't have to think about a $3, $4, $5 fee or anything like that. That's very nice. Now, the seamless integration that this account has is something that's definitely a pro if you have other accounts with Fidelity. You got the easy overdraft protection that's going on, of course, if you have that, and then transfers between the Fidelity investment accounts. Even more seamless and quicker than normal if you got another account with them. So that's something that I definitely noticed with, a bank like SoFi, where you have a checking account, a savings account, and they have an investment account as well. At one point, I was using all three of those with SoFi, and it was completely just seamless, fast. I mean, like I transfer from checking to savings, just like that it happens. Savings to investment account, just like that it happens. Now, investments to the other accounts takes a little time. You got to have the cash as to settle, things like that. But yeah, very seamless. With Fidelity, they're having that option as well because, of course, Fidelity definitely has the investment accounts, whether it be the individual investment accounts or the IRA individual retirement accounts. You have that going, and you can have this cash management account going. That seamless integration right there is nice. Now, there are some cons. Not everything's just great with this account. So limited physical branches. Now, this is mainly an online focused account where you're basically going to be doing most of the features and benefits and services with this account online via the mobile app or the website on your laptop or computer or on the phone. You can have some services going that way as well, but mainly it's going to be online focused with this account. Now, Fidelity definitely has physical locations. Here's the map right there. I'm gonna show you on the screen. So yeah, they definitely have physical locations around the United States, mainly focused on the investment side though. Now, you can go to some of these physical locations with your cash management account and get some general info, some guidance, some help, some things like that. But you're not going to be able to do anything like deposit cash or withdraw cash from the physical location, things like that. Now, there's likely an ATM somewhere around there where you could do that with your debit card with Fidelity. But typically with these physical branches with Fidelity, with the cash management account, it's more about just kind of helping you generally, basically with some guidance, some info, things like that. Now with your investments, there's more you can do with that at the physical locations, but this video is mainly about the cash management account. So yeah, a lot of people are like, physical location, what is that? I don't need that, without me, I'm more on the side where I mainly do use the online accounts. Now I do have accounts with banks that have physical locations, a physical presence, because yes, me personally, sometimes I need to deposit cash. That's mainly it. I'm trying to think, do I ever go into a bank for anything? I haven't in a while. I went to get something notarized, but that's been a few years actually. And that was a free service that I had for having a bank account with one of the physical banks that have physical locations where I'm at. But yeah, so mainly it's with me depositing cash. So I keep a, account with a big name bank that has, physical locations mainly for that reason right there. And so that may be something you may want to consider if you really want like an account like this, like the Fidelity Cash Management account or some kind of online focused account, is, keeping an account with a bank that has a physical presence so you can have that option. But yeah, with the Fidelity Cash Management account, definitely a con right there for some people. Some people won't think it's a big of a deal. Some people it's a deal breaker or a big deal, is the limited physical branches and actually what you can do at those physical branches. And now another con with this account is that I've seen that people have had issues linking it with Plaid. It doesn't link instantly with Plaid. It requires a manual linking with the routing and account number. Now, which isn't like saying that it can't be linked to an external bank account. You just have to go that route, with putting in the routing number and account number and then having the micro deposits, where you verify how much was deposited into the account. If you've done this before and you're like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, that's not a problem. It just takes a little bit longer. And that's true. Now you may be used to Plaid where you're just like, I'm just Plaid. I like Plaid. I like signing into my account with Plaid and then having it connect with that other bank just like that. Now that is very convenient. And unfortunately, this account has had some issues with that from what I've read. So it doesn't link instantly with Plaid. You have to go the other route. Now, some people may say like, oh, I don't even want to use Plaid. I don't like linking it that way. I don't like putting in my account name and password with another third party type of company. And that's totally fine too. Then this con wouldn't be a con for you basically with that, because you can still link the account. Just got to do it manually with the account numbers. So yeah, kind of a con for some people right there is the issues with linking this account with Plaid. Now, another con of consideration is the yield. Now, this is a nice yield in this account, either one that you choose, the money market fund or the sweep program. Both of them have nice yields for what they are. But yes, there are higher options out there that exist with the yields. Now, higher yields can be found with treasury bills, high yield savings accounts, and some CD accounts. So yeah, it's definitely out there to have a higher yield, which could be a con for this account. If you're thinking of using this account as a high yield savings account, something like that, then yeah, of course, that's going to be a con, is that this yield on this account, both options are lower than what you could find out there with the high yield savings account. Now, like I stated, what I would use this account as is mainly a checking account. So this wouldn't be a con for me because these are the highest options I've seen for yields for something that can be considered a checking account versus traditional checking account. So not a con for me and not a con for several people, I'm sure, but it could be a con for some people is the yield on this account, both options not being as high as some of the other options out there. The next con is probably one of the biggest cons I would say for this account for some people for sure. And the reason why I told you I have an account at a bank that has physical locations is that you cannot deposit cash with this Fidelity Cash Management Account. So that could definitely be a con for some people. If you find yourself with cash in hand often and you want to put it in your account, well, then you won't be able to do that with this account, unfortunately. You can withdraw cash with the Fidelity Cash Management Account with your debit card that's provided via ATMs. However, you can't deposit cash with this account. So yeah, that's definitely a con and consideration to think of with this account. Now, in summary, who is this account for? Who should open this account? Fee conscious users. If you're really somebody who's like, I'm tired of paying the monthly maintenance fees with my checking account, I'm tired of this minimum balance looming over my head, things like that. You can escape all that with this account. This account beats traditional bank accounts easily with the no fees. Definitely. Very much on the no fee zone with this account. Now, it's not the only checking type of account that has no fees. There are other fintech companies out there that are big on no fees with their accounts. But the cash management account with Fidelity definitely is a way to escape the traditional banking fees. Now, if you have a high balance in your checking account, like I spoke on this sum, and you need more than $250,000 in FDIC insurance, this definitely could be an option for you right here with the FDIC protection up to $5 million in the cash management account with Fidelity. If you're a high balance holder, high balance earner, then yeah, you could definitely use this account to your benefit with that protection and that peace of mind. I'm sure, having, an account with multiple millions of dollars and having only 250,000 of it actually protected by FDIC could put some stress on you. But yeah, with an account like this, you can lower that stress. Now, somebody else this account could be for are people that already use Fidelity to invest. If you have, your individual investment account and or your, individual retirement account with Fidelity, adding on this cash management account with the seamless integration and how it just works with it and all in one place right there on the mobile app and online could definitely be a great benefit to increase the convenience and your financial portfolio. So that is definitely something to think about. It's one of the reasons why I'm kind of thinking about it. I do use Fidelity in terms of some of my investment accounts and portfolios. So having a cash management account linked right there with that, all in one place with the mobile app, things like that, I could definitely see the convenience and benefit of that. And that's something that a lot of people out there may benefit them as well. If you already have a Fidelity investment account, like I stated, you don't have to have one to open this cash management account. However, if you do already have investment accounts with Fidelity, having this Fidelity cash management account could be a great addition to that. And that's a wrap on my deep dive into the Fidelity Cash Management Account. I've covered its key benefits, how to get started, earning yield, and how it stacks up against traditional checking accounts. If you're ready for a smarter way to manage your everyday money, this account could definitely be worth exploring. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more financial insights. And also, if you use this account or you're thinking about using it, definitely leave a comment down below with your experience with it or why you're thinking about using it, anything like that. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care.